Cornick, and this is Paint and Porcelain Exchange. And tonight we're going to be working on our pansies. This is how my first fire of my pansies turned out. And I really liked it. I thought it did very well. The yellows are very forgiving when it comes to shading and such. So I think if you did it, I think you probably had very similar results. If you get a piece out of the kiln, you need to sand it before you paint it. And the way you can tell, I gotta get my sander, here we go, is rub your hand over it and you just sand over it with, this is a sanding sponge. Or you can, I would imagine you could even use like a paper bag because it's just a real light grit and you probably could do that. And then you rub your hand over it again, it should be nice and smooth. Okay, and as far as the second coat went, I worked on that today and this is how my second coat turned out. So, oops, I think it goes more this way, yeah. So this is what we're aiming for by the end of the day today. And then we're going to use this. And this, if you have one, is a way that you can easily put a band on your plate. And if you don't have one, what I would say is get yourself a compass. This is a compass. So you could use this and just, you know, like put it in the middle and then just go around and make it. Or you could use string and a pencil, things like that. But this is a compass. So for those of you that don't know how a compass works, you basically decide how deep you want your border to be, and then you put it down and you just swing it around, but you have to make sure it stays put. So I would put some clay or gum or something in the middle of the plate to hold the compass in place for you while you do that. We have the yellow. I'm using Albert yellow. It's a little bright, a little better. My mixing yellow lately has been very bright and I hate it. This is like a yellow brown, dark yellow brown. This is my orange. So if you have an orange, that would be great. I think the orange, don't get one with cadmium, but anything else, would make it, gives it a little kick. This is auburn, which is like a hair color. So it would be a portrait paint. But you could use hair brown. I have my chartreuse, my warm brown green. I added rich brown for tonight because the first coat we didn't want it to be too dark, but the second coat we do. And then I also have golden ochre. Now this is my golden ochre. See it right there at the bottom? Right there. And it's very similar to this yellow brown. So you could use your yellow brown as well. It's up to you, but whatever you do, that's for the band. And we'll talk about metallics. I like to use a color under my metallics when I use my metallics. So I'm going to take my handy dandy little tool. You can order these from any of the China companies. They're very easy. And I bet you could probably find these at places that sell art supplies too, because I'm sure other people use them all the time. And I have a pencil. I would say you can't use the Sharpie because you need the part that will go through the hole. And the Sharpie doesn't go through the hole because it has a, see, it has a little thickness there and it won't go through the hole. I tried that already. I thought, oh, that'd be great for a Sharpie. It doesn't work. And I just decide how deep I want it. The one I have is pretty deep on my other plate. And what I'm doing is I'm going to make a set of plates. And they'll all have banding on them, but they'll have different flowers. And I thought that might be something that might sell like at a craft show or something a little easier. You put your pencil in the hole. All right. You pull towards the middle the whole time. And you go around. You pull towards the middle. They could make quite a mess on this because I'm pressing down pretty hard so that I keep pulling towards the middle. And that's it. And you have it. But as you can see, it's going to cut off a little bit of some of your leaves and flowers and things here and there. You can do one of two things. You can paint and then put the band on and then just paint that little bit. Or you can paint that and then just paint around it. So it's up to you however you want to do it. Okay, I'm going to start with the leaves first on this. And the reason I start with the leaves is because they're behind the pansies. And my leaves are going to be fairly simple. I'm using my number 10 brush because I want them to be nice and smooth. So make sure your brush is good and clean and that it fans out well. You want one that's going to be pretty smooth. And I'm going to full load, and this is a full load. You full load with chartreuse, you side load with warm brown green. And the side load is like this. You go in and you make little C's and pull up just the color on the one side of your brush. And then you get on here and you look at these two leaves. Now this leaf here, I'm missing this part here. Let me show you. Where's my pencil? Here. And see if I do this here. That's the other part of that leaf. For some reason it was just left totally white and it fired out. So this leaf is under, so I'm going to start with that. Need a little more color here. I'm going to start with that and just do a little under here and bring the green down in behind the flower. I'm going to add a little auburn to it too because I really want to, oh, it's a little too dark. I really want to give it a little bit of kick. The auburn is not harsh like the rich brown. Then I'm going to take and flip it around and I'll do this side of it. And you can make the leaf a little more curly if you want. Okay. Nothing to that. And then I'm going to start with this guy. Now this guy's going to be lighter because he's on top. But this side will have a shadow down in here because it's going to go under this. So I'm going to go in and go under. Oh, I like that. That's a lot prettier. So let's do some more of that over here. And then I'm going to take and use my chartreuse. And you can even do, so there are a couple of combinations. If you want the side of the leaf to be very light, you can do a full yellow with a side load of chartreuse, and that will give you this kind of a situation where it's light, but it still fills in, and then you could take a little yellow up in here just to give you a little color. Can you see how I'm doing that? Alrighty. Now we're going to come down here. This would be, I'm keeping to chartreuse, and this one I'm going to put a little bit of the auburn with because you see this is under the back of this pansy here. Okay. And I'm kind of cutting into the pansy to give it a nice appearance as far as, oh, that's a little heavy there. As far as the ruffling on the leaves. And then I'm going to do this side. I'm going to turn it around. I know they look a little bit like rose leaves. They really are not supposed to be rose leaves, so that's why I want to give them a little ruffle here and there so that they don't appear like rose leaves. And down here I'm going to do the same thing. I like to use a combination of the warm brown green and the hair brown or auburn or whatever you have as my shading one. And see there, I cut in a little bit. Because that way it gives you a little oomph. But then you may have to, see here it's a little dark, so I'm going to just pull it out a little like this. Maybe pull it over to the side a little too. And then I follow the outside of the leaf. And I'm not going to paint this until I get, well, you know what, I'm going to, because I don't want the paint to just stop. I wasn't going to paint it until I got there, but I think I need to. And then here, I'm just going to do the same thing. There, there, and there. Try not to touch your leaves more than once, although I just saw now that I need to touch it more than once because I got this here and I don't like that. It's really hard to do that, but you can. Okay, so those are the leaves that I'm touching right now. That's all that I'm touching. I might want to put a little more green up in here because it seems like the yellow just there. It didn't really take very well. This is going to be the pansy that is under this one. So this is going to be a little bit darker. And so for that pansy, I'm going to start out with a little bit of my yellow, but I'm going to put a little bit of my yellow brown on the side of it. And I'm just going to do the upper part like this. Then I'm going to add a little bit of auburn, and I'm going to pull it in like this. Now, if I don't like the auburn, it's fine, because what I can do then is I can add the rich brown instead. Here I'm going to put the rich brown. Take it right up to that green up there, because you don't want this floating. And I'm just going to put it right there so that it looks like it. So I'm going to take here, make it look like maybe it flipped over a little bit. There we go. Now this is going to be darker, so I'm going to take my yellow brown, and a little bit of my auburn, but I'm actually going to take a little bit of my rich brown too. And I'm putting the dark there. And I might cut in a little here, see? Just to give that a little interest. Sometimes you need to. Okay. And then down here, I still want to keep it, I'm going to take my yellow, full yellow. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the yellow brown and I'm going to pull it down like this. Because I do want some yellow in there. I'm just doing the tips of this. There we go. Then I'm going into my rich brown, side load only. And I'm going to, it's side loaded. So let me show you what I'm going to do, because it's confused. When you see it on there, you get it, but you don't. It's coming in like this. You're using just the top of your brush, just the top here, and you're doing this. So you're going, okay? It looks, you're using the side and the top of your brush to do this. So you do it here, here, and you kind of lift at the end so that you don't leave marks on there. Here and there. And then I might do a little right there. That looks good. And then I'm going to come down here and do the same thing. Here, 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 here. Some can be thick, some can be thin. It's up to you. That's it. Okay, now I have been using this stump that we discovered. You know, this is the cardboard stump that has the little, it like has a point at each end. I'm going to wipe it off real well, make sure no other colors on there, and I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to pull this up here because that's where that was supposed to be. Clean this out a little bit. You can use the stump even to clean off the tops here, and it doesn't leave as much of a mark. It doesn't leave a buildup, is what I should say. And I really like that. And then I can go down in here, do a little of this. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my brush and just go back over that. I just didn't want the color to be running off the page, running off the flower, you know. So there, okay. And up here, you're just going to do a little of these and maybe a little around here. If you have a pointer, you can use that as well. Okay, now here I'm just going to put this green in now. I know green is kind of weird, but I do like the green on this instead of the yellow. And then I'm going to put a little, well, I can't even put a little dot in the middle of these, but if I could, I'd put a little dot right in the middle there. Okay. Now, same thing on this side. I go down here, and I'm going to do the same thing. You could use yellow brown if you didn't want to get this dark with the brown down here. Here, I'll show you. This is the full load of chartreuse. You can use a side load of warm brown green, and you could go into your yellow brown and even get that in there. See that? And that's not bad, I don't think. I just, on the darker side, I do like the darker color. So that's just me. And some more chartreuse, side load of warm brown green. And this is a big leaf. And sometimes you may have to go back in and sort of outline your leaves so you know where they are. That's that one. And you know, you may not see it until I outline it, but that's what that is. So here we go. I'm going to put more dark brown down here. I like that. You see how I did that? That's for my center. And then I'm just going to pull them. Am I out of the thing? Here, let me move it up a little. I'm just going to pull it, feather it down a little. There we go. And here and here. I go around this edge here. And this edge here. There. Now, if you have a brush that you can use, put a little warm brown green on it, you can go up and very carefully, see, now I'm just going through and adding this little, oh, too much. When you do that, get another brush and just fix it. Don't let it go when it does that. Don't say, oh, it's okay. I'll just leave it. Don't leave it if you don't like it. And on this side, I'm just doing like little veins, kind of wherever I think they might be helpful. Okay, I've got some there, got some there. You don't want to overdo them, one on this side, two on that side, one on each side. Just, you know, try to not overdo them. Now I'm going full yellow with a side load of orange. And I'm just going to very gently touch the orange here. Can you see that? Can you see how I touched it? It's not a lot. I'm just very gently touching it in. This is a little vibrant right here. You can always pull it out. Then I'm going to clean my brush. I do a lot of cleaning my brush with this lighter colors. I'm going to take my Albert yellow, and I'm just going to go around the edge of this a little bit because I don't think you can see it otherwise. You need to have a little bit of yellow up there so you can see it. Isn't that pretty? I just love that. Now this one is going to be lighter overall than the other one was because it's the main focus of this. So I'm going to start out with my yellow, maybe a little bit of yellow brown, and I'm just going to do the edges here, just a little, not much, because I want the focus to be a lighter flower. Trying to get that yellow in there, okay? Hang on here, need a little, there, that's better. Pull it in, just a little. It'll help you if you have it. A little bit of dark on the edge, it kind of folds the flower down, if you know what I mean. Okay, now I'm going to take my rich brown and I'm going to go in the middle. Oh, too rich. There we go. Yeah, that's too rich. Hang on. I'm going to take this little guy and just pull some of it out. There we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Maybe I'll put a little yellow on, full load, and then side load with the rich brown and it won't be so. I don't know that I like this. There. Okay. Do want it a little darker. I don't know why it's fighting me. There we go. And finally down here, I'm going to take my yellow. And I'm mainly going to do yellow down there. Fill that in with yellow and put yellow back on, and I'm going to do the rich brown down here. Come here. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. There we go. I'm going to put a little dot in the middle of this guy here. And then I'm going to go and take my stump, the old stump, and I'm just going to go around the top a little bit, and here, there, go around the edges a little bit wherever I think it needs it. Okay, and those guys are done. I'm just doing the bottom of this little bouquet thing down here. And see that one I made too thick, so I'm going to take my number 10 brush and I'm just going to trim it up a little. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, and now we're going to go up and hit the upper ones. I don't do my stems until the very end up here. So I'm going to start with these three little buddy things. And I'm just going to play. And this is where you can have fun with coloring. And then I'm going to take full load of yellow, side load of orange. And I'm just going to, oh shoot, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Here we go. I'm just going to play. I want these to be a little bit, kind of to pop up here. There we go. Maybe this color. You can do any color you want up here. These are not going to be real prominent, so you can play with them a little and have no problem with them. And then this one over here, this little doodad, he's a bunch of nothing. He's like a yellow with a little brown or something on him, I think. I'm going to do him like this. Put the dark up around the top and bring it down one side. There we go. That's all I'm doing with him. And then this one is mainly yellow. And I'll put a little, I don't know, yellow brown with it. Okay, first I'm taking, just so you know, I'm taking, this is also a number 4. I'm going to load it with chartreuse side load with a little of the warm brown green. I'm going to work on these little guys up here. I'm just taking my liner now and I'm just doing the green on here, the darker green. I kind of like a darker green. And there we go. All right. Just this coat will be my golden ochre. Once the golden ochre comes out next week, I'll take a look at it. And if I want to put any metallic over it, I can. So that's the deal there. So you just start painting, but you've got to keep it smooth. You want to keep it as smooth as you can. One fire on your border will never do. You're going to need to put at least 2 coats on, if not more. It just depends on your paint and what you're trying to accomplish. And I'm just painting, oh geez, here. I'm just painting around. Now you paint around stuff, and then obviously if you paint it off, you have to go back and fix it. But right now this is what I'm doing. I'm just painting around it. And that will be all. And I'm trying to keep it as smooth as I can. And that will be all I do this time. I will fire it. And then I will determine whether or not I want to use a different kind of a metallic or not. When you go around the edge, there's one thing you have to be careful of. Oh, here, I'm out of frame again. When you're going around the edge here, you've got to make sure that you don't get any buildup around that edge or that it's not too loose. You want it to be nice and smooth all the way around. Oh, am I getting out of the frame again? Jeez, I got to watch that. I don't want to get out of the frame for you. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, but it's not much to it. I mean, all you do is smooth it. See, I kind of cut off that guy there. I may have to go back and put him on. And then I just go all the way around the plate, kind of stand back from it, look at it, try to get it as smooth as I can. And when you do that, you're holding your brush as far back as you possibly can, like this. But you don't want to get those streaks. So keep it nice and soft, and you don't want, but if you do, it's no big deal because this is not your final coat. And then here where I messed up that flower, I'm just going to take a little of my orange and go back and do that. Ta-da. The final thing I do is wipe off my edge. Really loving the yellows. Okay, and this is it. You probably can't see what I'm doing, but I'm wiping off the edge. I'm using a Kleenex on a finger, and I just put it down like this, and then I just run it around. Pick up those brushes. Keep painting. See you next time. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My Paintnporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.